Okay, so solving linear systems with linear combination. First thing you need to know is that it goes by different names. Linear combination method, I've seen it called elimination method. I've also seen it called addition method. So on some of your worksheets, it might say elimination, it might say addition method, but they're basically linear combination, which is the original name for this. This is an algebraic method to solve. So just like substitution method, you can get exact answers. Unlike graphical method, where it's not a really exact answer, it's an estimate. One nice thing is if you pick the right situation, linear combination can be faster than substitution method. So it can be a very fast method if you use it in the right circumstance. The only downside to linear combination method is that the equations must match. So what does that mean? It means that the x's, the y's, and the numbers have to line up with each other. So we typically put both equations in standard form, capital AX plus capital BY equals C, so that the x's, the y's, and the number terms actually line up. It can actually be done in a different form. As long as the two equations match each other, you're good to go. All right, Roman numeral 1, steps. And I'm going to give you the steps. I know the steps are kind of long, but that way if you get stuck, you have a way to kind of look up how to do it. So step number 1 is to write both equations in standard form. Write both equations in standard form, which is AX plus BY equals C. So that's your very first job, is to get them in the same form. Okay, step number 2, you get to select a variable to eliminate. And this can be X or Y. You get to pick which one you start with, but you have to pick one that you're going to eliminate first. Then you can eliminate the other one on the second pass through the equation. Okay, here is the biggest step. This is what you're trying to make happen. You're going to multiply one or both equations. So multiply one or both equations by numbers so that one variable has opposites. So that one variable has opposites. So what do I mean by opposites? I mean, one of them might be a plus 6x, the other might be a negative 6x. Remember, opposites are the same number, but with the opposite sign. So you're forcing those equations to have either x or y have opposites. Okay, if you did this right, then the next step goes really easy. Add the equations. If one of the numbers has opposites, it should add up to 0 and disappear, and all you're left is one equation with one variable. So your fifth step is to solve. And this is one where you should get x equals a number or y equals a number at that stage. All right, now that you've got one, you're going to repeat the steps for the other variable, that is. And the one nice thing about this is if your x or your y ends up being a fraction or a weird number, unlike substitution where you then have to use that and substitute it in, with this method, you don't have to use it. Once you get the answer, you're done. You set it aside and you work on the second answer. So it's really nice if your answers are fractional because it doesn't utilize that. Okay, so Roman numeral 2, we're going to do some practice. Okay, example 1. 4x plus 3y equals 16. 2x minus 3y equals 8. Now, on your homework, they're going to give you, I remember, a free gift with purchase. They're going to give you a free gift and have it already set up to eliminate a variable. So if you look at this, the y's are already opposites. I have a 3y and a negative 3y, and they're already there. So I don't have to actually do anything to this to change it. I can just add it up the way it is. And when you add it up, 3 minus 3 goes to 0. 4x plus 2x is 6x. 16 plus 8 is 24. And 6 times 4 is 24, so you know that x equals 4. So the first one was a free gift. You didn't have to do anything. It was already set up to do that. Okay, so now we're going to do the next one. So rewrite the equation. So 4x plus 3y equals 16. 2x minus 3y equals 8. Now, we've already eliminated the y's, so your second time through, you want to eliminate the x's. These are your x's. And you're going to multiply one or both equations so that the x's are opposites. Now, this is a 2x, this is a 4x. Probably the lowest number that a 2 and a 4 will go into is a 4. So I need one to be a positive 4 and one to be a negative 4. So this 2x needs to be a negative 4. What do I multiply 2 by to get a negative 4?
2x or minus 2x.
Negative 2. Yep, we got to multiply by negative 2. So we're going to take the second one, multiply it by a negative 2. So this means everything has to be multiplied by a negative 2, all three numbers. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6y equals 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Now, the first equation was fine the way it was, so we're just going to recopy it exactly the way it is. So 4x plus 3y equals 16. All right, now that I've got my opposites, we're going to draw a line and add it up. 4 minus 4 goes to 0. That's what we wanted. 6 plus 3 is 9y. 16 minus 16 is 0. Sometimes that happens. It's okay. So then I need to get the 9 off the y. So multiply both sides by a 9th. And 0 times anything is 0. So y equals 0. All right, just like substitution method, your solution is an ordered pair. X comes first, so 4, and y comes second, comma 0. That is your solution. Who? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's do another one. So this one is example 2. We've got 2y minus x equals negative 8, and x plus 6y equals negative 16. Now, the first thing you should notice on this is they're not both in standard form. Remember, standard form is capital AX plus capital BY equals C. So we need to have them both in that form. The second one is okay. X plus Y is a number. The first one, though, we just need to rearrange the negative X and the 2Y. So I'm going to put the negative X first, then plus 2Y equals negative 8. And the second one, I'm just going to recopy. So x plus 6y equals negative 16. Now, again, we get free gift with purchase. There's a negative x, there's a positive x. So 1x and negative 1x are opposites, which means we can draw a line and add these up the way they are. So x minus x is 0, it goes away. 6 plus 2 is 8y equals negative 8 minus 16 is negative 24. And 3 times 8 is 24, so y equals negative 3. We have our first answer. Okay, so now we're going to rewrite them and try to get rid of the y's. So negative x plus 2y equals negative 8. X plus 6y equals negative 16. All right, so this time we're going to get rid of the y's. The smallest number that a 6 and a 3 go into is a 6. So I want a positive 6y and a negative 6y. So they add up to 0. The second one's good. That's my positive 6y. So I don't have to do anything to that one. But the first one needs to be a negative 6. 2 times a negative 3 is negative 6. So I'm going to multiply that first equation by a negative 3. So everything gets multiplied by a negative 3. So negative 3 times negative x is positive 3x. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6y. Negative 3 times negative 8 is positive 24. Now the first one is fine. So I'm just going to draw a line. We're going to add these two together. 6 minus 6 is 0. That's what I wanted. 3x plus 1x is 4x equals 24 minus 16 is 8. And 2 times 4 is 8. So x equals 2. So our solution is the ordered pair, 2 for the x, comma, negative 3 for the y. Always in alphabetical order, ordered pair. All right, any questions about the process? So probably the best one to use this on is when you see something that's already set up with opposites. If it already has a negative x and a positive x, linear combination is going to be faster than substitution because you'll get the first answer right away and then just work on the second one. Ultimately, on the test, some of them you'll have to do substitution, some of them you'll have to do linear combination, and there'll be some that you can do whatever method you want. So you get to pick because both methods will work on linear systems. All right, Roman numeral 3. Application. Okay, so for the application problem, you need to know 2 terms. One of them is complementary, and I didn't misspell that. It actually does have an E in the middle there. There's no I, complementary. And the other word is supplementary. Complementary and supplementary. Complementary means the angles add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary means the angles add up to 180 degrees. All right, so we're going to write an example. The example says 2 angles are complementary. And then skip a line, and their difference is 30 degrees. 2 angles are complementary and their difference is 30 degrees. Okay, so on these, sometimes they'll have 2 sentences, 1 sentence per equation. Other times they'll use the word and that will separate out equation 1 from equation 2. So that might help you put this together. So let's diagram. So two angles. Okay, so let's call those two angles X and Y. Are complementary. Now, are is the plural of is, which usually means equals. So circle it, put an equal sign. Complementary means their sum equals 90 degrees. All right, let's make this into an equation. Two angles are complementary. Their sum means add. So X plus Y, two angles added together are equals complementary, which is 90 degrees. Okay, now here, let's do the second one. And their difference meaning X and Y. That's the there we're talking about. Difference means subtract. Is, circle the word is, put an equal sign, 30 degrees. So difference means subtract. So X minus Y equals 30 degrees. And those two equations are beautifully set up for linear combination because look, it's already got a y and a negative y. So we can just add them up. X plus X is 2X. The Y's add up to 0. 90 plus 30 is 120 degrees. To get the 2 off the X, multiply both sides by a half. Half of 120 is 60. So X is 60 degrees. All right, and that was eliminating the Y's. Now we're going to eliminate the X's. Now we have a 1X and a 1X. So I need one of them to be a negative X. So you can pick which one, but I'm going to multiply the second equation by a negative 1 because that will give me negative X plus Y equals negative 30 degrees. And the first one's good the way it is. X plus Y equals 90. I'm just going to recopy that one without changing it. So by multiplying the second one by a negative 1, I now have opposites for my X's. So draw a line, add them up. X minus X is 0. Y plus Y is 2Y. 90 minus 30 is 60. And 2 times 30 is 60, so Y equals 30 degrees. So our solution, now this is not an ordered pair, this is a story problem. So it's just two numbers, so use roster notation, 60 degrees and 30 degrees. And in roster, the order does not matter. Any questions about the application? All right, that is the end of the notes.